Yeah. Martin gets one tapped. Cheeky little double there. Cheeky little double. Might be able to get these two here. Good night. I got dodged. I can now. Oh my god, max healed. Worth it. Your sacrifice will not be in vain. It might be in vain. It will probably be in vain. I'm still here. I'm still going. I'm still going. Get on my arse! Now we're quickly gonna go over everything I'm running this build nice and fast. If anyone just really wants to see what my full setup is. So if we show the trees up right here, this is my blunderbuss tree. I've tried a bit of everything, tried a bit of unload, tried some double down. Honestly, this right now is what I'm running, and I think is the best for pretty much every scenario, apart from maybe a 1v1. But all big scenarios, I'll be running this tree. For the Ice Gauntlet, I'll be running on this tree. So as we can see, we have a pretty standard IG setup. A lot of these passives aren't really useful, but we do want the ultimate chill. It's possible to give this up and instead go for a more selfish build when you're using Cleansing Tomb and Refreshing Frost. But this is my IG. And then if we go through my armor, we have 3 Shirking Fortification over here, 2 Elemental Aversion, and Plague Splitting Grenades. One of the 2 perks you'll be needing for this build. For the jewelry, we have a Health Divine Void Protection. Health Divine, just go for that if you can't get the 3rd perk. And then Smooth Bone and Doom's Chance, nice and easy to get. Very, very good for the build. As well as the Crystalline's Curse and Troublemaker 9000. Again, I understand that the refreshing move on Troublemaker is getting nerfed. After that, we'll be looking to go towards an enchanted, keenly empowered blunderbuss. With Crystalline Curse certainly being the one you want to aim for. It's got everything you need on it. If we go over the attributes nice and fast here, we have a split like this so that I can eat nice cheap food and get to all the points I need to. So if I have my Glazed Bear right here, it will take me up to 200 con, 150 int, 165 strength. This is the setup I play during wars, during a lot of the big fights. Incredibly tanky, still a lot of damage. Your IG is not going to hit crazy hard, but you got enough to make that storm tick up and do some considerable damage. But yeah, this is as far as what I'm running in the build right now. If you're here just for a brief overview. Okay, so now we're going to quickly show you exactly what the full combo will do to someone in full resilient 200 con, light, medium, and heavy. For this test, I'll be running a keenly empowered enchanted blunderbuss, which is what I would recommend now for the blunderbuss. And as such, we'll be going for the full combo. I am fooded up, and I have the biggest honing stone on, as people will run during the war, and will now go. Now this, for the light, they are in 4 resi, but because the damage is not from crits, it will be very, very small difference. So going for it here, we go for the Ice Shower into a light nade, light Azoth. We can see with a bit of burn damage, a 200 con, 4 resil light, they're just gonna die off the bat. All right, Jeffu, switch it up. And this is again a medium 200 con, 5 resil. And there we go. This is more what I'd expect against a 5 resil medium 200 con. Takes them about to 20% or so HP, which is not too bad at all. All right, Jeffu, into heavy. So next we have a full resil, full heavy, all 623 gear score plus player, and we'll see what the full combo does onto someone like them. And again, the combo does change according to if I'm hitting keenly empowered, if I'm hitting all of my shots, if the grenades are landing. But just as a brief example, if we go here, into the majority of the combo with the grenades. You can see even in heavy, we're taking them down to, you know, 25, probably even less, 20% HP right there. And that's with one grenade hitting. So in these examples, we have Ijefu walking backwards, only getting hit by one grenade, which is pretty common. But just as much as that happens, we often see 3 grenades hitting, which would take someone like Ijefu down to almost a one-tap. So again, that is heavy, full resil, 623 gear from essentially one combo. Okay, we will show the combo just one more time onto a heavy armor, just for another example. And we can see there, taken to even lower, potentially looking at about 15% HP. So there's some serious damn. Again, this was with one grenade hitting. And even though I'm in heavy 200 con, kill potential is through the charts, Okay, so now I want to bring on the discussion around where did the tankiness of this build come from? I mean, we've seen the damage there. We've seen the fact that it's got the potential to basically one-tap almost any target if everything lines up correctly. But this build isn't built around the burst, it's built around the tankiness. So where does that come from? Why are we so much tankier and harder to kill than your normal heavy 200 con bruiser? Because in terms of stats, in terms of armor, it's not that different. So we'll slowly break that down because there are quite a lot of things which feed into that. There's a lot of things that feed into that. Now, first of all, let's talk about the armor itself. As we saw earlier, I'm running 3 Shirking Fortification. Now, Shirking Fortification is straight up a very strong defensive perk, but it's not specific to the BBIG. It's something that will help on mediums, lights, heavies. I believe it helps heavies the best, again, because heavies have a baseline of damage reduction that any fortification simply stacks on top of. So if I get a fortify as a heavy up to 50% fortified cap, that's more effective than if a light got to 50% fortified cap, because my inherent tankiness is taken to the extreme. But why am I talking about the armor perks if it's something that any build can get? Well, the main thing is the fact that we don't really need weapon perks. There are a couple. As I said, we do need Plague Splitting Grenades, and we do need Unending Thor, but we can move Unending Thor onto our IG, and theoretically, you can definitely move your Plague Nades onto your BB if you got a really good one. And what that does is it opens up the opportunity to stack defensive perks on your armor without needing BIS. That's the big word here, without needing BIS. If you're running a heavy bruiser, if you want a full set of Shirking Fortification, you're going to need a lot of weapon perks, so you're going to need some crazy expensive full BIS items. Whereas on this build, as you can see, sure, we have some very good items here. But the fact is, I'm still running 4 2 perks, and all of those are no weapon perks, just straight up defensive perk plus resil, or double defensive perk. So that's the first step. It's a lot easier to make space for defensive armor perks, which obviously leads to us becoming a lot more tanky. Now next, about how the build itself works in terms of the passives. Now the Blunderbuss passively has a lot of fortifiers that are going to build up and really be effective over time. The first one's here, Aggression. Any hit within 3 meters grants a 2-second fortify of 10%. This is something we'll be proccing all the time. When you're deep in the fight, off the bat of any of our combos, as you see, we start here, open up with a little light attack. That's going to proc us that 10% fortify. So that's going to be a really nice, consistent fortify up when we're deep in any fight here. Another one is On a Roll. This is every time we trigger an ability, we get essentially a 3% fortify, which will stack up to 5 times. Now, right now, this is performing super well for me because I am running a refreshing move, Blunderbuss. Obviously, with the refreshing move leaving, this will be a little bit less effective. But the fact is, comboed with Double Down and a nice, consistent use of our abilities passively, this is going to be ticking up, going to be giving us a nice extra baseline of Fortify. But now we can start getting into the big things. Last Chance. This is where we become the true tank. Last Chance, you're looking at a full max Fortify. That's 50% damage reduction for 4 seconds. Now, 4 seconds, not only very considerable amount of time, And with that fortify itself being a crazy big fortify, a 30-second cooldown is very short. I mean, to put it in context, a 30-second cooldown, that's the same as splitting grenades, right? So it's essentially another ability. If this was an ability we could put on a bar, press a button and get a 50% fortify, that would be nuts. So this one passive here is really, really bringing in our tankiness, because whilst 30 seconds might seem like a lot, over the course of a war, over the course of a long fight, this can be proccing multiple times. And then if you note that, you can mix it in with use of your oak flesh or gemstone. So if we look at our gemstone here, that's going to give us a 35% damage reduction. If you're clever with it, you can definitely use your oak flesh after your last chance has been used. So within that 30-second period, the downtime between your last chances, you can use your oak flesh and consistently keep a nice uptime, knowing that, okay, once my oak flesh runs out, well, my last chance is back up. That's a fortify. Last chance goes down. Okay, now we're looking to use my oak flesh. So moving between these two is going to keep a general, nice, high level of fortify that stacks along with all of these other little passive fortifies that we'll be getting. Now, still carrying on with the conversation about fortifies, we have fortifies from the IG as well. As we can see from Defiant Freeze, anytime we cast an ability, that's a 2-second fortify. Again, 2 seconds, pretty short, but it's a 20% fortify, which is serious. When's this relevant? Well, when we're going for showers, we're always going deep. You know, you don't shower from range, obviously. You're looking for deep showers, which means you go into a little clump, chuck a shower, and this is the moment. It's this moment you throw in the shower. This is when you're taking damage. This is when you're in a clump. This is when you're at risk. But it also means this is the moment that you've got your 20% fortify. So it works perfectly. There's a nice little synergy there. You move forward, you use your shower, you get your fortify, you come onto your BB, you shoot, you get another 10% fortify. You use an ability, you use both your abilities, you get another 6% fortify. This is without your oak flesh, without your last chance. You're going to be naturally proccing up, and that's, of course, again, ignoring the Shogun fortification on our armor. We're going to be looking at 30%, 40% fortifies just in our normal passive as we're moving around using our ability rotations. So the fortifies in the build is a core part of why it's so tanky. But that's not all. Fortifies are good, but in the end, that's not going to save you from a lot of situations. What really takes this above every else in terms of tankiness is the fact we've got Entomb and Net Shot. Two of potentially the best life-saving abilities in the game. Both of them. First of all, Net Shot. Now, Net Shot, fast, it's clean, good distance, a little bit of damage, but the damage I completely overlook at this point. I'm not using it as a damage ability. You get out of grabs instantly. You get out of ice showers instantly. The only thing to be wary of is you do need to wait a second for that root to run off your body. You don't want an instant net shot, I guess. You want to wait, half a second for that root, then net shot, so you can get the full distance. But as you can see there, net shot, low cooldown. If you double down on it, instant cooldown. If you decide to go for the fast hands perk, even more cooldown. Net shots up very consistently, makes you super slippery. If you get pulled into a grab, that's an escape. And then Entomb. Everyone knows how Entomb works. Everyone knows how good it is. The fact is, we're already tanky. We've got a lot of HP. We go into Entomb. That's going to proc our fortifies once again. We've got Defiant Freeze instantly proccing, as well as Strength Entomb. So after we break out of Entomb, another 20% fortify. We got to remember, the reason fortifies are so powerful isn't because, hey, 5% fortify is going to change my life. Hey, look at this 6% fortify. It's because they all stack on top of each other and they counter the things such as Ren. So you can go 6% fortify and I can pretty much guarantee it's all going to be useful for you. So all of these fortifies stacking on top of each other, being hard to be locked down, a crazy amount of movement considering you're in heavy, usually the class that doesn't have movement, net shotting back and forth. When you eventually get onto them and they don't have a net shot, what happens? Entomb goes up, they break out of it, Entomb, net shot out of it again. You're slippy, you're hard to get, and then when they do eventually lock you down, you've got fortifies coming left, right, and center. This is the whole base of the tankiness. It's the mix of fortifies for those moments you're caught, and having so many ways to escape being caught. So many ways to escape being caught. So that's why this build is as tanky as it is. I'm sure you'll see from the clips just how crazy I can survive in certain situations. Sometimes it feels like there's 10 people on me, and they're only grazing my HP bar. Okay, so in our first clip here, you can see I'm pretty deep outside of fort, completely alone, and no access to healers. Get showered off the bat, and that is where my two survivability abilities are going to come in massive. First of all is going to be that entomb, breaking out the entomb for extra iframes, followed by a net shot to get out of there. Now, notice here, I instantly use an ice golem ability that's going to be 20% fortify, and that kind of fortify really matters. Now, the 50% fortify from the BB there will also be saving my life. On to the next one. Again, we are in a situation where I've got multiple people swinging on me. Shirking fortification is going to be proccing very well in these situations. Saving that entomb for those hard stun lock CCs, breaking out and then using net shot to try and make space. Now, once again, the 50% fortify saving my life there absolutely from that spike. We use a shout to try and catch one of them. If it doesn't catch one of them, we go through it to use it as a bit of movement speed to try and get out of there. Sadly, not enough to survive for long enough, but using that ice shout for movement ability or movement speed can actually be very useful. Now, on to the next one here. We're playing around point, looking for something to kill, and we found a little clump. We use our grenades, and this is where double down procs. You can see the grenade cooldown super low, and by the time that my grenades are up, there's also going to be another clump that's up. So we're going to have a grenade combo once, and then about 8 seconds later, we're going to have another grenade combo, never really getting the clumps ourselves. Once those cooldowns are done, we go a little bit closer to the clump to use that shower, get out of there, not adding to the clumps, but killing them from range, staying alive, using our tankiness, and just generally being unable to take down while still providing a lot of damage and help in those clumps. Into the next clip here, once again we see the full combo. We got grenade into Azov on someone else's grab. With that double down proccing, the grenade's up very shortly. We're now looking to use a shower. When that time the cooldowns, the shower comes in, and by the time that the shower's ended, we're able to get another grenade Azov shot off. For the final clip here, we're just really quickly going to look at a little bit of surviving after we get taken down and just holding on to the defensive abilities and instead of using the shower defensively. So we're going to go in here, we're going to move on back. We're not hard CC'd, so we are okay to move on back and save those abilities. Just for some closing statements about the build now, because I know the intro to this was made quite a long time ago, even in a different update. So where is the build now? Honestly, it has not changed pretty much at all. We're still running the exact same attribute split. We're still running the same setup for the perks. Not much has changed. Obviously, we are now on an Achilles empowered enchanted BB full time. And the build is working out fantastic. I am going in wars with 1-2 deaths, which before I was much higher, especially as a main shot caller. There's a lot of focus on me. So the survivability is insane. The burst is still there, as you've seen. And yeah, the build is incredibly strong. It's specifically good for those around the point, those playing close in wars that want to survive, but still have the opportunity to have massive impact in those clumps without being part of those clumps. Now, looking forward, we do know that arenas are coming up next update. We have seen the PTR, and how will that affect this build? Well, honestly, not too much. The BB is getting slightly nerfed, but the nerf is not really impacting the majority of this build. That is the burst, that is the AoE damage. So none of that is really getting impacted. In a sense, next patch, I imagine this build will be even stronger, because with no true hard CCs, it is going to be very hard to kill me, even harder than it is right now, as I'll always be able to use my stamina, get those dodges, and proc all of my fortifies. So yeah, that's about it. If you want to see this build being used in full wars, I've been using this for every war and will continue to use this for every war for at least the next few weeks on my Twitch channel. It will be linked down below. I'm live every day. Check the VODs or watch me in the near future. This build will also be banging in the 3v3s. I am sure we might go 150 con for a little bit more damage, but wait and see. I'm sure I'll do an update once that comes out and once we start grinding all of that. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy the vid. I'll be back hopefully making a few more vids here and there. That is me. I'm off. I'll see you around. Oh, there's the nade. There's the shower. Come on, team. Follow up. They're still respawning here. Okay. I think it's all over for me. Another massive nade, though. Easy stat padding. Easy stat padding. Right now, I feel like a rank 1 stat pad. I'm not going to lie. This is amazing. I mean, look at the hole of the shower. How am I alive? How am I alive? Why are you going your inventory to heal?
Because I can't walk.
Biggest ice shower of my life? Oh! Oh my god! I'm alive! Wait, there's no way! Oh my. How do they all just suddenly appear? Every time! Ah, I nearly got one! I got one! Let me kill him! Yeah!